You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. Welcome back. It's Wednesday. Captain John Jane Doe's. I'm Mindy.
And I'm your favorite host, Kevin.
Can you stop saying that?
No.
Someone actually texted me today a really nice compliment about the podcast. And they're like, I love listening to you and my favorite host.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rude.
Let's just tell the people what we've been feeling. I mean, I guess I'm a fan favorite.
Oh my gosh. No, you're not allowed to hype yourself up like that.
Listen, I'm the comedic relief. We know.
Okay. You can't declare who you are.
I declare bankruptcy.
Probably, says the flight instructor. Yeah, probably.
Well, I got to be nice to you this week because it's a special week, apparently, to some people.
Valentine's Day. I wonder if anyone's going on any flying dates.
I feel like we are.
Yeah, we are. We have a little, I have a work trip, but I've been planning all my work trips in our airplane around you and your schedule because you are in crunch time right now to get to your 1,500 hours time building. And I want you to be in the airplane every opportunity that prop is spinning.
Correct. Which is like, we've done nothing but talk about the math over the past couple of days, but it seems so ridiculous that I'm going to fly more because I fly so much at work. But
yeah,
we're going to keep on going because like Mindy said, it's crunch time. We are so close and we got a lot of good information because last week, Mindy and I went to NGPA, which is one of the big aviation conventions. It's basically the first one that kicks off the year.
Yes. So we just went to Palm Springs. We flew our airplane in Mojo. It's about a little over an hour flight from us in Las Vegas, a nice, easy, smooth flight. And we landed right up against the mountains and it was beautiful there. I've never been to Palm Springs, California before, first time. And what we both noticed as we were flying in was all the gorgeous golf courses.
I know. Like if you eliminate the giant mountains, Naples vibes for sure.
Very Naples vibes for sure.
Yeah.
Even their little downtown that you walk around into different restaurants and shops and stuff felt very Naples, like a West Coast Naples. So much. But loved that. Loved going to NGPA. I don't remember if we mentioned it on the last podcast that we were entering Mojo to be Queen of the Fleet. Did we say that?
I don't remember.
I think we did, but we didn't win.
Boo. I think there was some colluding going on because Mojo got tucked in the corner. She was definitely the prettiest plane on the ramp,
so
though.
there were, how many planes do you think was in the contest?
10.
10-ish?
I mean, there was more on the app.
Yeah, the website that everyone that was in attendance voted on had like 20 planes on it. It seemed like, but it didn't feel like 20 planes were on the ramp. But they did it at night. And it was kind of cold out. And they had like the hangar set up with dinner and everything. And then all the planes were on the ramp, kind of out in the cold. And the lighting sucked. So there was one huge light in the middle of the ramp. And we were nowhere near that light.
No.
So no one knew how shiny Mojo was. She was in a dark corner.
And Oscar just polished her for us.
Yeah, we just got her all spruced up. So... Wah, wah, wah.
I'll give just a quick 30-second review. This is my second conference I went to. So I went to LPA, which is the Latino Pilots Association, in September in Orlando. There was a stark difference between the two events. And there's no shade here, but at NGPA, the recruiters were in a much better mood. They gave me attention. They gave each person attention.
How many recruiters did you talk to at LPA versus NGPA?
I think I talked to maybe 3 at LPA.
Because the lines were insanely long, right? It was so crowded.
Insane. There was actually more vendors at NGPA, and I got the chance to talk to whoever I wanted.
I think you talked to 9 recruiters.
Right. So I obviously didn't talk to American and United, but everybody else that was there, I talked to. Mm-hmm. And each individual gave me the time of day. They looked me in the eye. They told me specifically a path that they like. You know, obviously their words are calculated because they're not going to hang their hat on, if you do XYZ, you're going to get a job. But
you got better direction, though.
I got direction.
Some were saying, you're not competitive here unless you have your CTP done, which is an extra course that's like a $4,000 to $5,000 course. So obviously no one wants to do that on their own because some airlines will pay for that course for you.
Such a weird conundrum.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely for those out listening, the ATP CTP was a big thing.
Yes.
Every single regional I talked to definitely desires it. Not all require it, but it's a desirable thing.
Totally.
And then, yeah.
I did not go to LPA. I obviously went to NGPA, and I went to the expo floor and got to see what that looked like because it's a job fair. It's not for anything else besides people finding jobs. It's a career fair.
Specifically airlines. Now, FlexJet was there, but that was the only 135 operator.
Plain sense.
Okay.
There was a couple small outfitters.
Okay, you're right.
One or two. No, there was smaller 135, but NetJets.
Some FedEx commuters were there.
Mm-hmm. No, there was other stuff besides airlines, but I would say if you are nearing your 1500 or you're at it and you do not have a job yet, you've got to go to these expos. You get such great information. You get one-on-one time. They say that you get a little star next to your name, right? Because you attended. They claim that your application gets priority.
The bigger takeaway is the recruiters handed me their business card and said, reach out to me directly.
Yes.
So that's, to me, the star.
Connection.
You know, that's the star. And then the other thing what Mindy's saying is, like, with the 1,500 hours, American was doing interviews on the spot.
Right.
So if you're at that point in your career, you know, go.
And I know what some of you are thinking. LPA, Latin Pilot Association, I'm not Latin. NGPA, the National Gay Pilots Association, I'm not gay. I can't go to those. Guess what? We are not gay and we are not Latin. And we went to both. And guess what? The Women in Aviation event, full of males. Full of men looking for jobs. You do not have to be, you know, checking all those boxes of that particular group to go and to support that group and to be a part of that community and to go to the job fair and to make connections. That's what everybody's doing. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I know, because that definitely gets talked about. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's a better event for me to go to because it was smaller. It was more productive. These events are expensive too.
They are expensive.
So, like, why would you want to go to the biggest one of the year? So Women's in Aviation is the biggest one of the year. I would say go to the NGPA events because most people who go there are NGPA members and then the select few of people who aren't.
And you can buy a ticket if you're not a member.
Correct.
But also become a member. We're members. It gives you a discount on the ticket price, and then you get to support that group. So why not? It gets you so many more connections.
Anyways, obviously I'm excited because of these conferences because that means things are happening.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump the gun, so we're not sharing anything about myself until I'm sitting in the seat, okay? Because I have nothing on my plate in my mind, even though that hopefully can change pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some great updates for you guys soon. But all you guys need to know right now is that we are flying our tails off right now, especially Kevin, trying to get him to that magic number.
Yes. And
if you're not in the pilot world, if you are non-pilot listening, 1,500 hours is the magic number to go to the airlines. And that is the amount of hours that you've logged flying airplanes. So pilots have their own logbooks. You log every flight you do, and you got to add it up to 1,500 hours to go to the airlines. So that's where a lot of things start unlocking.
Yes, and my amazing wife has once again granted me the keys to the kingdom on Mojo because that's not what we use our airplane for.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. When Kevin decided he wanted to be an airline pilot and we own an airplane, and knowing he had like 300 something hours, whatever, and needed to get to 1,500, so many people came to us and said, well, why is Kevin becoming a flight instructor? Why does he not just get the hours in your airplane? That makes my skin crawl. First of all, if you think that I was going to let Kevin, and I love you and I support you and everybody knows that, if they think that I was going to let you put 1,200 hours on my plane, oh my God, the expense. First of all, the expense of flying a plane 1,200 hours, the fuel and the oil and the annuals and the maintenance and all that is very costly. At the same time, that would mean you'd have no job. You're just ripping around in our private plane while we're paying for those hours. Oh, and by the way, you just devalued my aircraft to be worth about $0 because now it's at TBO.
Yeah.
And the fact that people didn't put that together, and when I was like, hell no, he's not putting 1,200 hours on my plane, people were astonished. I'm like, no, he's going to go get paid to fly and devalue someone else's plane.
The cost analysis from me getting my CFI and II versus what it would cost to do that in our plane is tenfold.
I've never actually done the math, but it would be tens of thousands of dollars plus no income.
To time build a 1,500 we're talking about. Because I know some people say get your own airplane to learn how to fly. That's different. Mm-hmm. You can have some cost effectiveness there if you get lucky with no maintenance bills. But we're talking about 1,200 hours plus.
Right.
And constant use.
But now Kevin needs about 150 hours.
Yes.
And I was like, fly as much as you can at work and fill in every single gap with Mojo. Go for it.
So I'm on my lighter days, I'm working at All In and then immediately going to Mojo and putting 2 hours on the plane plus.
Yep. Well, we're doing it. I think you have a little shout out to me before we get into some housekeeping.
So I know we've talked about this a lot, but if you guys are in Vegas, come out and fly with me. Rip the brand new Cirrus around.
Kevin needs hours.
I need hours.
Aren't you listening?
So I just flew with one of our listeners the other day. I told him, remember, this is an anonymous podcast, so I'm not going to say his name, but he was awesome. We had a great time. He rented the 22. And he called me the day before the flight and he said, listen, Kevin, I'm not a pilot yet, but I want to be. I don't want this to be a sightseeing flight. I want you to put me through the ringer. And I paused and I said, absolutely.
Let's do it.
And we did it. We did a full briefing before. We did landings. We did maneuvers, the whole shebang. And he loved it. And hopefully that gives him the pep in his step to go get his license. I know you're listening. Sign up. Go interview your instructor.
That's so exciting.
And I have a couple more coming down the line. We have some people coming in from the UK. So I got at least 2 or 3 more in the next month. So if you guys are in Vegas, reach out to me. I'll give you the number for our flight department and book it because it is so much fun.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for supporting us, not only by listening to the podcast, by taking that extra step to come and fly with us. We truly think that's the coolest thing. We're so grateful to have all of you a part of this wild ride. And with that, if you even want to be a more part of this story, head to our website, CaptainJohnDoe.com. That's where you can submit your stories for us to read on the podcast like we're about to do right now. Just a reminder, it can be any and all and every aspect of aviation. Whether you're a pilot, a mechanic, a flight attendant, or maybe you were just a passenger on a flight. You've heard me telling stories lately on commercial flights where I was a passenger. Anything goes.
I really want some mechanic stories.
We don't really have any.
I know. We want some of you A&Ps and IAs out there.
I want flight attendant stories. I think they got juicy stuff and that they're not submitting to us yet.
Send them in.
So share our show with your flight attendant friends because I want some juicy flight attendant stories. But anyway, anything goes, anything aviation, you can write in. It's fully anonymous. It doesn't ask for your name. It doesn't ask for your email. It's just out to a black hole and then eventually makes it to my laptop and I have no idea where it came from. We also have a new segment where you can write in and ask for advice. There's an option on our website whether you want to submit a story or ask for advice. We don't know everything, and We definitely can come up with something though. So I've seen a few of these come through. We won't have time for the advice segment today because we have 3 really great stories lined up for you guys. But generally, most of our episodes are going to have that now because that's been a really fun addition to the show. And I think you guys are liking that too because we're getting a lot about that. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review and a rating. Also, remember, we're doing a monthly merch giveaway. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month. You can go on Instagram to find out more details about it. There's a post that we have on there that you'd comment on to enter the giveaway. Or if you leave a podcast review, you get an extra entry. Just send us a message on Instagram after you submit a review. But go ahead to our website or on our Instagram bio link, and that's where you can find all the rules open to U.S. residents 18 and older. And with that, I think Kevin has some reviews to read.
As always, because we're doing so much with the reviews, we're going to read them. So we're going to read 2 reviews every single podcast. So this one comes from Silver Fox Pilot.
Ooh, ow! Who are you, Silver Fox?
My favorite aviation podcast, 5 stars. Not only will you get to enjoy great aviation hangar stories that will make you laugh, but the dynamics between this married couple is amazing. 5 stars for both. Thank you, Silver Fox.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love a guy who calls himself a Silver Fox.
Yeah. All right. AKBPB, y'all deal with it. That's a crazy name. Great podcast.
I love it.
The podcast is awesome. I started listening when they put out the first one, and all of them are super entertaining, and you get to learn something funny and new each time. I'm always looking forward to the next show. They definitely encouraged me in my own aviation journey. Mindy and Kevin are awesome.
Hey, thank you.
These are just like
you got
perfect. I love reading these. I didn't know we were so awesome.
Well, you call yourself awesome every episode.
Well, really what's awesome is the stories you guys submit. So let's get into some of them.
Funny, ironically enough, yours is not a submission.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me that.
You picked it out.
I did.
I don't even know where you got it because I tried to look in our sheet and I didn't see it.
All right. Well, let's read it. And as you can tell, I don't really read these in advance because I want to react in time with you guys.
It's a news article.
All right. A California man has admitted to illegally landing a small aircraft twice on a restricted U.S. Navy base and stealing a military truck. I'm going to call this guy Kyle. We're not going to name names.
Even though it's public.
37 of San Diego. Pleaded guilty to theft of government property and unlawful entry onto a naval installation. Prosecutors said his actions triggered a full lockdown on San Clemente Island, part of the naval base Coronado, costing the military nearly 500 man-hours and an estimated $500,000. Kyle first flew his Glass Star kit-built plane onto the island in October 2023, where he was formally warned never to return. But in April 2025, he landed again, stole a Navy-owned Ford F-150, and rammed lock gates before abandoning the truck. He was captured the next morning after being spotted on surveillance footage. Kyle is currently in federal custody and after cutting off his ankle monitor earlier this year. He faces up to 10 years in prison when sentenced on September 29th.
How does Kyle have a medical? Because he's psychotic.
How does Kyle have a pilot's license? How does Kyle have an airplane?
Dude, okay, so many questions.
Kyle knows how to hotwire a car, doesn't he?
Clearly, but also I'm just wondering how the Navy came up with the damage was 500 man-hours worth. I guess they had to put a value on it to take him to court, and they came up with hours.
Sure.
But all he did was ram the truck into some gates. How is that 500 man-hours and 500 grand? That's just very arbitrary to me.
I have no idea. But what I do know is the word Coronado is really fun saying it.
Okay. I also love that he has done this twice. Like he went in 2023 and they were like, please never come back, which was a very nice way of them handling that. And then he went back again. So I wonder what is at this Navy base that is pulling him in.
Correct.
Does he have an ex-girlfriend there that he's trying to get a hold of? Like, what's happening at this Navy base?
There's somebody there that he wants attention from.
Yeah.
For
Sounds
sure.
like that person's in danger.
Probably stole their truck.
I think this person's in danger.
Well, I don't think they're in that much danger because Kyle's in jail right now.
Maybe he cut off his ankle monitor, it says. That was like the icing on the cake. I truly didn't see that twist coming, that after all that, now he's in custody again for cutting off his ankle monitor.
Well, hopefully Kyle doesn't get the urge to continue doing this, because if that's true and the Navy paid $500,000, which seems a little ridiculous, that's our tax dollars.
Do you think Kyle is our wanted man from an earlier episode?
Yes.
So if you guys are not up to date or don't remember, I read a different news article several episodes ago about a man going out to fly his airplane and it was gone, vanished. And come to find out, someone was repeatedly stealing his airplane, flying it, and then returning it. He just happened to go out once when it was out still, I guess.
This sounds like something Kyle would be really, really suited for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I never found the ending to that. I don't...
It's because Kyle's in jail. There is no ending.
Well, because I don't think they ever found out who was stealing the other guy's airplane, but...
We just determined it.
This is major Kyle energy.
Yeah, we just put a stamp. We need to call the FBI, say Kyle's your guy.
Kyle, you know what Kyle's got in his glass there? He's got a 12-pack of Mountain Dew in the back seat. That's what Kyle's got.
12-pack of Mountain Dew.
In the cans. Yeah.
He's ready to grow.
Maybe even Code Red.
Ooh.
That's such Kyle energy.
I can picture the guys I grew up with that drank Code Red, and I know exactly that their names were Kyle. No offense to my friends named Kyle.
But actually, it was Kyle, right? Because I think I know who you're talking about, and it's Kyle.
Kyle.
Okay, good story. Would love to know more about why he was there. I feel like there's so much more to that. I'm going to read the next one. This is a listener-submitted Captain John Doe story. So a couple of years ago, I'm new to flying for one of the big 135 fractional operators.
Wonder who that is.
Luckily, I'm flying a larger jet. We're capable of doing transcons, Hawaii, etc. This story would be even more horrific if it was in a Phenom or something. Anyways, I always said I would avoid having to take a dump in the lab.
Yes, a new poop story.
Well, one morning, company has us doing a transcon, Teterboro to SFO. For anyone listening that's not a pilot, transcon, transcontinental, that's going from coast to coast. So he's going from New York to California. Wheels up around 6 a.m., full airplane, 7 passengers in the back. I'm full of my morning coffee and a big breakfast burrito, and you know what that combination will produce. A little under halfway there, I tell my captain, I think I got to take a dump. He tells me, all right, go take care of that. I keep telling him that I swore I'd never use the lab for that on board, but he assured me that that's what it's there for. So I walk back all casually, and of course, in the last row, we have just an absolute smoke show. I'm talking tall, blonde, big personality.
Oh, what does that mean, Min?
That's not what this submitter wrote. He wrote something else, but I'm going to say she had a big personality.
Really smart is what you're saying?
Yeah, after that, he says, wow, in all caps. You guys can use your imagination. Well, I go inside the lab, lock the door, and I decide, nah, man, you could hold it, take a piss, and walk back up to the cockpit. The captain comments on how quick I was. I told him that I chickened out because of that girl that was sitting right next to the shitter. Well, as soon as I sit down, fasten my seatbelt again, my stomach makes it clear to me it's time. I get up and run back to the lab, barely get my pants down quick enough. If it wasn't going to be obvious the first time, it's definitely obvious now. I couldn't look at anyone's face when I walked back to the cockpit after that. And I have no shame in using it anymore.
These are the type of stories that we want on the Captain John Doe podcast.
I love it. I'm glad I only had to edit one small piece. This is really funny. I feel that when people envision private jets, they always imagine beautiful women on them. But the reality is this is so far and few between. It's usually like 80-year-old men on private jets, not beautiful 21-year-old blonde, big personality women.
Smart.
So it's really funny that this happened to him when someone like that was on the plane, because that's not the reality all the time, right?
Right. The reality is I would have no shame. Based on last podcast when Mindy decided to record me while I was going to the bathroom in the Porta-John.
So many people messaged me saying like, oh my God, at first I thought you left it on, which I did, obviously, but I left it in the podcast on purpose. Some people thought I accidentally left it in there, which makes it even funnier. So tell me, Kevs, yes. If you were flying a private jet, would you feel comfortable using the lav for number 2?
If I had to, 100%.
What if, like sometimes you're like, like I'd love to go, but I could probably hold it. Would you probably hold it?
Yes.
Okay, good answer.
Yes. There's been very rare situations when I've even been on a commercial plane where I've had the...
I don't need to know this.
Unbelievable urge, except for maybe a couple podcasts ago when we were talking about our Namibia trip. But
oh yeah, well,
overwhelmingly, I am an adult. I typically can hold.
It happens though.
It does. So if it happens and you see me, hopefully the next couple of years, open that door and walk on out, it's an emergency.
But you can also use the lav to go number 1.
Well,
it doesn't mean
I guess time. If you see me sitting in there for a minute or 2. Okay. I see your face. She doesn't like this.
This flight is probably like a 5 to 6 hour flight, so it makes sense that this would happen. That's really funny though. I'm happy that this humbled you and that this also made this person decide that they're going to use the lav all the time. No shame.
No shame. That's what it's there for. That's what the captain said. If the captain says use it, you're using it.
Truly though, that's an amazing thing about the big private jets. The jets I started to fly on at first were the small 525s, which are Citation M2s and the 3+ and all that. They had a lav, but it's like emergency.
Would you call it a lav?
It's
a seat with a pot.
With a pot. It's more like a porta potty.
Yes.
We've had submissions on this show about the exact type of lav that I used to fly on. So I never even used it for anything. And most passengers don't either. It's very much emergency use only because it is like a porta potty. It does not flush. You go to the bathroom into a tray, and then the pilots or the line guys, if you pay them a couple bucks, have to clean up when you land. It's not externally serviceable. That's whenever they hook up the hose to the side of the plane and it sucks all the bad stuff out. Nope, you got to carry a tray through the airport till you get to a dumping station.
I think I'll just stick with my Porta-Johns because I love them.
But on the bigger private jets, you get flushable lavs that are externally serviceable. So it's so much better. It's like a true bathroom in there. There's a sink and there's running water. There's a mirror. There's lights. There's a little window. You could sit there and look out the window.
And the bigger you get, there's multiple lavs.
Yes.
Right? That's a game changer.
Yeah. Once you get into bigger ones like Gulfstreams and Globals and all that, there's a lav in the back for the passengers. Oh, so that kind of tells us what kind of plane.
Oh, yeah. I already know what type of plane this is because it's obvious who they work for.
It's a Longitude.
It's a Longitude. 100%.
That's what I fly. It's a Longitude. I was 100%. Just thinking the same thing because a Longitude is a big enough plane to do Transcon and Hawaii and stuff, but it's not a big enough plane to have 2 lavs. So a step above a Longitude, if you got any bigger than that, then the crew normally has their own lav. So that's really nice because when I was working on the Longitude, you have to walk past all the passengers, just like in the story, to get to the lab. So they know anytime you're using the bathroom, which is just awkward in general. Like, that's their private space back there. They might be sleeping, whatever, and you got to shuffle past them to go use the bathroom. But on these bigger planes, there's a door that closes to the cabin. That way they have their privacy back there and they have their own lab. And then the crew, for the pilot, co-pilot, and potentially a cabin attendant or a flight attendant, all have their own separate lab. That way you can use it as much as you want and feel no shame at all. That's amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Well, as always.
Did you get her number? Is this a meet cute?
I don't think it's a meet cute, babe.
I want a meet cute story. Do you guys know what a meet cute is? Do you know what I mean?
You've told me this thousands of times. I refuse to take that into my brain and keep it there.
A meet cute is like when you meet in a cute way.
Yeah, taking a shit on a longitude.
It's a meet cute.
Meet cute. Yeah, let's go on a date now. Now that you smell the worst of me, it can't go any further down, right?
Honestly, I don't know why this guy was so nervous, because, like, was he getting his number if he didn't do that?
No, it was never going to happen, buddy.
Right. Sorry.
Listen, we're pilots. We're not sitting in the back. I'm one of you.
Okay. Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong.
Right back in and tell us if you got her number.
I think I did the best any pilot can do with you. So there's that.
Yeah, but you weren't a pilot when we got together.
I was not a pilot. That's true.
Yeah. So maybe if you were a pilot, I would have been like, ew, gross.
Ew.
Get away from me.
Well, thank you for our 10th poop story. I like this one. I would like some more poop stories, because then we can talk about the next person's meet cute.
Yeah, I want to meet cute.
All right. My turn. Another listener submitted story. Keep them coming. I was flying out one evening back in the fall of last year in a Cessna 172. I fly and the plane was...
You don't know how to read.
Okay.
You should just start over.
I'm going to start over because Mindy's...
That's all one sentence, sweetheart. I saw that you were coming to a stumble moment too, and I was just waiting for it. Try again.
All right.
What? Who did that?
It's my turn to talk.
Okay.
Gosh. I was flying out one evening back in the fall last year in the Cessna 172 I fly, and the plane was hit by lightning. The fact is that I was totally not expecting that to happen, given the current weather, and was on my way back to ARB. I actually don't know that airport. That's shocking.
Is that Ann Arbor?
I don't know.
I just made that up.
It makes sense. Where the plane and I was flying, where the plane was based. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You know what happened here, guys? We're not going to cut this out. Mindy posted this one for me and didn't change the font. And my brain is not working.
Are you even joking? You're going to blame it on the font? It's Arial. That's the most basic font that they make.
I'm not doing this person credit right now. I feel bad. I apologize. I will try again.
From the top. Be serious. From the top. Okay.
All right. I was flying out one evening back in the fall of last year in the Cessna 172 I fly, and the plane was hit by lightning. The fact is that I was totally not expecting that to happen given the current weather, and was on my way back to Ann Arbor where the plane I was flying is based, and the lightning was out of nowhere. The weather we were going into showed instrument conditions. However, no lightning was detected until we were coming back into land. When the lightning hit us, we were flying at 4,400 feet, and the base of the clouds was at 5,700. So we figured we were perfectly fine. However, I guess the lightning disagreed. Luckily, however, I did manage to land the plane safely, and neither myself, the CFI, or my single passenger in the back was hurt. The same, however, cannot be said of the plane. The lightning just grazed the tip of the left wing, which, yes, airplanes are made for lightning. However, it still managed to pop the bulbs or break them somehow on the end of the wing, as well as breaking the beacon light on the vertical stabilizer. Wow, that's a lot of issues right there. Luckily, it did not fry any systems on the plane, including its all-glass Garmin cockpit. It was about 1955 local, so that's 7:55 FY's eyes.
Good job, Kevin.
And as soon as we got the plane on the ground and back into the hangar, the rain came and it just poured. And I was very glad we were not still up in the air dealing with it. We had 45-mile-per-hour gusts of winds, and the lightning came on so strong shortly after we were on the ground. This was definitely a unique and a bit scary experience. However, I did manage to get the plane back on the ground safely, which is all that matters in the end.
Nice. This person has a really great memory to know the base of the cloud, the altitude they were at, the local time that they landed. I do not remember things like that.
No, but I also never been struck by lightning.
Do you know that to be fact?
No.
I bet you've been on a commercial plane before that's been struck.
That's why I hesitated, because I knew personally flying, no. But on a commercial plane, that is a good point.
You wouldn't even know. So the fact that they had damage from it, I think it's more common to get damage from the lightning on smaller aircraft than the bigger ones. But the fact that they got damage is a little bit abnormal, that it broke some of these lights. But thank God it didn't hurt the Garmin.
Oh, no. So I think you looked up some little facts. Wait.
I did. Because you know me and my research. So I wanted to learn more about lightning and how often it really happens and if it is dangerous. I've heard a lot about it, but I wanted to look up a few things. So on Airbus's website, they said each in-service aircraft is struck by lightning at least once per year on average. Even if the level of energy of lightning strikes is high, their effects on an aircraft are limited. An aircraft should theoretically be struck by lightning once every 1,000 years. The operational reality is that an in-service aircraft will be struck by lightning on average once a year or once every 3,000 flight hours. This is 1,000 times the projected value above. This difference can be explained by the fact that an aircraft will tend to attract lightning in flight when it's in the proximity of a storm's high electrical field. All large aircraft must be designed and certified to withstand lightning strikes without sustaining significant damage to their structure or effects on their systems that would adversely affect safety for the remainder of the flight. So, I found that really interesting that they had an equation on the website. I didn't copy that over to this, but they had an equation that would show how often a plane should be struck by lightning. And as you can see, it's once per year, even though it should be once every 1,000 years. But, oh, by the way, planes are flying next to storms, so obviously they have a more likelihood.
Sure. I do find it unique, though, because for my non-pilot friends and family out there, they always tell me about flying into thunderstorms. And from the controller's perspective, I can tell you confidently that airplanes do not fly into thunderstorms. You fly very close to thunderstorms. If you're ever in a plane and you see lightning all around you, that's because the pilots up front are deviating around little tiny gaps in the weather. They're not actually going through on purpose. Now, it does happen, and usually it makes the news because a flight attendant might get injured or something. But lightning can jump from cloud to cloud. We learned that in our private pilot days, right, Shmin?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my guess at might have what happened is you're below the cloud deck, which makes sense to me, though, why they got struck by lightning, actually, because they could have been below a thunderstorm, because that's very possible.
And that's exactly right, Mr. Kevs. And that leads me to my next bit of research.
Oh, you have more? Okay.
Yes. Then I found a Navy document, and I'm going to read a little piece of that. There are strong correlations between certain flight conditions and lightning strikes. Most strikes are reported during the climb and descent phases of flight between 5,000 and 15,000 feet, with the chance of a strike drastically reduced above 20,000 feet. Lightning strike reports are also mostly associated with rain, temperatures near freezing, and while flying inside of a cloud. The typical seasons associated with being struck by lightning are spring and summer. It's important to note that the lightning strikes do not require convective activity or thunderstorms. almost half of all lightning strikes reported by airline pilots occurred with no thunderstorms in the immediate area.
Wow.
Interesting, huh? Some lightning strikes can deliver up to 1 gigajoule of energy. That is enough to power a standard refrigerator for up to 30 weeks. This huge amount of energy can be destructive to internal components of the aircraft, melting metal components, sparking fuel vapors, frying electronics. But the FAA has many regulations governing how well aircraft can withstand lightning strikes now. So it's possible you can experience a lightning strike in flight and not even realize it.
I did not know this was a PBS documentary. That was really good.
Well, I saw that this last thing was about lightning, and you know me, I'm a little nerd, and I was like, I want to know more about lightning.
But that makes sense a lot why so many planes get struck by lightning, because what I said is still true. Like, planes are not flying in thunderstorms, and this is telling us that more than half of the lightning strikes, they're not near a thunderstorm.
Correct. Yes. And definitely can happen when you're below a cloud deck.
For sure.
Yes. Because
that makes more sense than anything to me.
Yeah, for sure. But no, there's a lot of regulations on aircraft manufacturers and how they build aircraft to withstand a ton of different things. And one of those things is lightning. So obviously on like the really small airplanes, we have static wicks and we have all these other things, but also the way they actually make the plane has to be sure that it would be safe if it got hit by lightning. They basically have to assume the plane's going to get hit by lightning and design a plane that can dissipate it appropriately and not catch your fuel on fire or not catch the plane on fire or not fry the electronics. There has to be ways for the energy to disperse.
So, honest answer, how would Mojo take a lightning strike?
I don't know. We're very metal.
We're so metal.
You know, when they're like, oh, when it's raining outside, make sure not to hold a metal umbrella or anything really shiny or whatever.
We are Benjamin Franklin in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, though, I just don't love flying airplane and IFR are kind of like weather anyway. And I guess to this point, these pilots are reporting lightning without even being in IFR. But yeah, I don't think that Mojo would take it so well. And we have a really nice panel that I don't want to be fragged.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Imagine.
Well, I'm really happy that the end of your story turned out really good. And you only lost a couple light bulbs because those are always replaceable. And yourself is not. And I hope that I don't ever have to experience lightning in small airplanes. I clearly know now that when I am an airline pilot, I will experience it.
And seeing those lightning clouds when you're at airline level, when you're at 30-something thousand feet and you see them, and I'm sure some of you have, especially when you're at night and you're flying around those huge lightning clouds, it is the coolest thing to see.
What's that phenomenon called?
St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire. Look it up for those of you who don't know what that is.
Right.
But it's still lightning. Mm-mm. Oh my gosh.
No, you just opened up a whole nother thing. Hold on.
But it looks like lightning.
Yeah, it's like a phenomena.
Phenomena. Boom.
St. Elmo's Fire on an airplane is a visible electrical discharge, a bluish or violet glow seen on sharp points like the nose, wingtips, or windshield during thunderstorms, caused by highly charged air ionizing and creating a discharge similar to a neon light, which is usually harmless but indicates intense electrical activity nearby. So it's not lightning. Very much not. It's just being in
intense electrical energy,
ionized air, and having strong electrical fields. And yes, that happens around thunderstorms just like lightning does, but it's not a lightning strike at all.
Okay.
I don't think.
I stand corrected.
I don't believe it is. There's a video, obviously I'm not going to watch right now, that says this video shows how St. Elmo's Fire relates to lightning. So maybe it is related. I don't know. I've never seen St. Elmo's Fire.
I remember the last time I flew with you up in the cockpit of the jet. We were flying back out west, and there was so much lightning for like 3 hours. And it was so beautiful and scary because we were nowhere near it, but like seeing it was like, oh my gosh, like just unbelievable amount of energy.
Because it looks so powerful.
It's like, right? Yeah, don't go near that.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious we're not to fly sometimes.
Well, I really appreciate all the submissions. I think that this podcast is really starting to kind of grow. The listeners are growing. We see that with the submissions coming in, with the reviews coming in, with you guys reaching out to us. Like, connect with us. We are going to respond. I mean, I don't even know how to use social media. So if you reach out to me, I'm going to respond right away. Whereas Mindy actually has a real job.
Sense. I don't know how to use it, so I'm going to respond in a timely fashion.
Have you seen my last reel? I don't know. I just take a picture and post it.
Knowing how to respond to like a text and knowing how to make a video are two totally different things.
Anyways, we love this community. We love the Captain John Doe brand. I want this to continue. We've said this 1,000 times. The only way it does is with you guys to keep on listening. So until next Wednesday, Captain John Doe out.
Bye.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.